Before we get to the ending, I want to go ahead and see what happens at the very end here. See how we can fuck this up by not shifting or letting time run out. It's probably the same thing. So I'll just let time run out. You can see what happens. Fuck it, don't shift. See how I just think this is like so fucking stupid. At this point, at least in the story. Like, not like hours before, Akane's like, you know what, we should just fuck the other people, they're gonna die. I don't get this. Like, Akane's like suddenly, oh, what about the other people? And it's like, come on, you didn't care. Since when have you cared about other people's lives? Kind of disingenuous. Is that really how it's gonna end? Wow, that's fucking wonderful. But I cleared all the decisions, and I got a bunch of reports unlocked. Yeah, return the game without saving. Don't worry, I got this. Flowchart. Yeah, it's up there. But that's everything. Everything cleared out. Only this thing to go. Maybe Zero will explain his whole master plan. Probably something. Oh, you guys had to get all your memories so you can stop the terrorist or something. Something. Nevada Desert. Decom.
Damn, I can't remember anything.
Me neither.
Neither can I. It somehow feels like I made a bet with someone, but...
Someone?
What kind of bet?
Did we all forget what happened?
Hey, could I ask all of you something?
What's Sean doing
this
there?
kid?
What's Sean doing here? I guess we all just fucking passed out.
Did we do it?
We're not wearing the bracelets, so I don't know the time. But
Judging by the position of the sun, it's probably noonish.
And the date?
How would I know?
Yeah, I'm not a clock
Hey, Mira.
or a calendar.
Eric, do you remember me?
Yeah.
I definitely remember you.
Shut up, Sean.
Then we really did.
Must have worked.
Life is unfair.
Agreed.
Don't you think?
Poor little Gab.
You bastard.
17 years ago, a snail traveled down a narrow path in the park. If that snail hadn't been there, perhaps all of you here would have lived a completely different life than you did. Just one small snail, and everyone's lives, even the world, changed.
So, what's the big deal?
Would you just quit talking nonsense?
Come here, little Gab.
I'm so glad you were safe.
You're a good boy.
Of course we were. You all have shifted in from another history.
Whatever. We gotta call the cops.
And what exactly will that accomplish?
Absolutely
Isn't it
fuck all.
obvious? We're throwing you in the slammer.
And my crime?
Murder.
Didn't do it here.
Murder? I see. But I haven't killed anyone. Specifically, in this history, not a single person has died. I strongly doubt the police would listen.
But in the other histories, you...
Well, actually, you
Did
can get kidnapping
not
charges.
Pay attention. I don't have the ability to shift. The only reason I know anything of those histories is because I mind-hacked you. In effect, the me you know is a different person than the one before you.
Yeah, you still all trapped us
Can
in
I
there.
be charged for killing someone in another history? If so, then I'd say this world would be full of criminals of all kinds.
What about conspiracy to commit?
Yeah. I'm betting this history's got a bunch of dangerous machines and gimmicks all over the shelter.
Unfortunately, I have removed them all.
Mm-hmm.
You've slept for quite a while. Nothing is left in the shelter. No transporter, no quantum computer. Loaded into a truck and taken away.
You could not have moved that
Sean
fucking
is
computer.
able to move right now due to radio signals received from a satellite.
We literally had to be out for weeks for you to move
What?
that shed.
Aren't you happy? I say again, in this history, not a single person has died. Phi and I exist, and there will never be an outbreak of Radical 6. There is only a bright future ahead for all of us. Is this not what you'd call a happy end?
But according to you, all of mankind will die if time passes and nothing is done.
Religious fanatic, a terrorist attack that sparks a nuclear war.
I heard this story. You said you released Radical 6 so that you could kill that person.
75% chance of killing him.
The me before you did not say that, but I can't deny it's true.
Radical 6 won't spread throughout the world in this history.
That means that fanatic guy won't die.
He might.
So now humans will go extinct? Hey,
What
where's
if a
that
snail
happy
crosses
future
his
you mentioned?
path?
Interesting. Does that make you angry, Phi?
What?
If so, then we have a serious contradiction. I had prepared a future in another history where 2 billion would survive. But yet, you decided to jump to this history. That means you chose a future where humanity goes extinct. Over 6 billion dead.
I chose a history where there's a possibility where that won't happen.
No, you're wrong, Delta. Nothing in the future has been determined yet. We'll shape the future with our own hands.
Huh. You said something I can get behind, Carlos.
Wow, thanks for finally agreeing with me,
I
Jimbo.
think so too.
I agree.
Douche.
Okay, me too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Mira.
You're right. The future has infinite possibilities.
If we work together, we can accomplish anything.
Humanity's gonna die out? Screw that.
We'll definitely change that horrible future.
What's so funny?
Just that.
What the hell do you mean?
I'm sure I told you in another history that my motives are complex. Imagine, what if none of you had experienced the events that occurred in the shelter? You're so determined now to change the future. One of the goals of all of this was to get you into that frame of mind. It's all going according to plan.
So I killed you a bunch so you'd be
Without
pissed
a
off.
single casualty. I created a future where mankind will be saved. Does that upset you?
Yeah, because you
Are
could have gotten this
angry
across
that your life was played?
without killing me 1,000,000 times.
Very well. I will give all of you one last choice.
Oh, sweet.
With that gun there, you will be able to choose whether to kill me now
Awesome.
or allow me to leave. I promise I won't use mind hacking on
Yo, you could, buddy. I don't
you. You
care.
are free to decide.
Good, let me choose.
Which shall it be? Pull the trigger, or let me go.
No, I'm putting a fucking round in your head, buddy.
The fates of you, me, and mankind are all on the line.
Mankind doesn't need you. We're fine without you.
This is the decision game.
Good. Hell yeah, Carlos. Pull it. This is really gonna leave on a cliffhanger. It really leaves on a cliffhanger. Wow. Wow. Really? That sucks. But obviously you kind of have to. It would have been nice to have just a choice at the end. I would have liked to have been able to just get some revenge. I just disagree with a lot of what Zero says, a lot of what Kanai says, mainly Akane, because she's just really contradictory in a lot of her ideas and ideals, and it's just and on one hand you care a lot about sacrificing people and anything for the mission, and then at other times it's no, actually I don't care about the mission, fuck the mission. So it's kind of just frustrating to deal with her and with how she reacts to everything. But I mean, I thought it was a pretty good series. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I wouldn't mind having a little bit more of it, but it is what it is. But oh, I can actually skip this one. Wow. No, this is the real credits. I was gonna skip it just because there's nothing new, but instead I'll just talk about it. I really like Q-Team. Duh. It was really exciting to go through them. I like new people that we don't know about. I mean, I didn't like Eric at all, but Mira was interesting at least. She added a very unique dynamic where other times they're not necessarily just a serial killer. No, she just was a fucking serial killer. A crazy one at that. Crazy in a lot of ways. But I didn't find her to be too annoying to deal with compared to Akane. Because I just hate it when someone's like that. They're flipping in different directions. The people oh, now we have the moral dilemma of whether we shift or not. What are we doing? Why? Why do we care now? What difference does it make now when we did it a few hours ago? The last one we just killed a bunch of people, so why do we care now? What difference does this shift make versus the other ones? So it's kind of it was those kind of stuff that was it felt kind of meh, almost like a throwaway. That it's set up to give you a choice of what to do, I guess, and that's how it felt like, I should say. But I mean, it was still good. I enjoyed the game. I enjoyed the story. It was fun. Mind Hack was kind of silly, at least the name wise. And everyone being a shifter at the end, kind of ass-bully in a way, but you know, you want to tell a good story at the end, so some things kind of had to go by the wayside. It is nice to see where Luna comes from, get that original person. still kind of confused how Phi can exist in all the world lines when Sigma fucks her in only one and puts her in a transporter. I don't know how that translates to other histories. Like, she doesn't get in the transporter again to come to that history. No, I mean they do, but it's not in all different world lines, so it's kind of like, it's iffy on that. But once you start adding in a transporter with two people in the same world, that's when it starts getting really kind of screwy and really hard to explain. So it's kind of understandable that they didn't really go into excruciating detail about it. It's to be expected after all. But if they ever put out a new game, I'll definitely go into it. I think it's fun. Even if it's not a direct sequel or any kind of in the same universe type deal, I enjoy these kinds of stories. It's thanks to the support of the fans that the project was completed. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you. Thank you for making it. Because it was very enjoyable. Wouldn't want to play it if it wasn't enjoyable. Even if it was kind of short. The final decision. Coincidence. And save it, and that's an all clear. Sweet. I think that, yeah. Everything. Flow. Look at that. Perfect. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Control. File. I want a better fucking... more better music for the background. Let's listen to Coincidence. I think that was a good one. Actually, go back. That was the Zero theme. That'll be a good one.
Which side of the coin is facing up? However,
there we go. This is a better, okay. Wow, there's a fuck ton of shit I have not read. Holy fuck my ass. I mean, I'll just still get through all of them, but I could have probably read through all these. Gab letter, in case I need to read them. Free the soul, nothing new. Rash Keys, Akane's brother. Incinerator. We're required to reach temperatures of at least 1560 degrees Fahrenheit, 850 Celsius for 2 seconds to ensure proper material breakdown. Human cremation occurs well within that range, which is why she melted. 2 to the 100th is some fucking ridiculous number. 6 billion deaths. Nucleus. Input, output, material tank. All the main things, Monty Hall problem. Antidote. Oh, antidote hint. Oh yeah, this would tell you, you know, which ones exactly. If you were having trouble figuring it out. Which it was easy. I had no trouble with it at all. It also helped that everyone felt it, so it was like, you just do the obvious one. Like if you got, even all of them are covered. So I mean, as long as you paid attention, this is simple. The only reason you wouldn't get it is you weren't paying attention or weren't thinking. It'd be better if it was if the antidote thing was that you felt numb if you taste something that's wrong. I think that would have been a lot better. But at the same time, and that's the sleep schedule, okay. Where did the air ducts go actually? Ward C and D being in the same space means the air duct in the prep room and the lounge don't lead to the other wards. Inside is simply a small space for Gab where he often rests on a rug. Fucking Gab. He rests there for like an hour and a half and then fucking trolls the fuck out of him and comes back. No, but if we go back to the antidote hit, if it was like a mistake and it was the wrong one and it gives you a numb tongue so you can't taste anymore, I think that would have been better. If it was in the reverse, I think that would have been a lot cleverer. More clever. Because then you can't just taste all of them. Because once you go numb, you can't taste anymore. And you won't know if it's different. I think that would have been a very interesting thing. Because then it's, my tongue didn't go numb, my tongue went numb. Because you can't test all of them because it will go numb. Everyone will go numb. So it would only be like, you test 3, he tests 3. Even then, it's really risky. You have him go through all, like, one at a time. Once he goes numb, then it's kind of, you know, blank shot. It would have been a lot harder. That's what I'm trying to say. You know, it would have been a lot more luck-based. I like luck-based things. Murdered 17 years ago, young mother went jogging in the park. She reached a fork where she usually goes to the right. Snail. As a result, she was killed by a girl. Suspect who was taken into custody was not the culprit. He was falsely convicted and executed. And his wife committed suicide. He left 2 young children. Convicted man called a taxi, killing a surgeon as well as the young boy who was waiting for an operation by the surgeon. If that Snail hadn't been on the path, life is simply unfair. Anagram. This must be fate. Fate? Diana smiles weakly at the Beta Sigma's question. Don't you remember you told me that yourself? Me? I never said it. If it was really me, then... Yes, the Sigma who was 67 inside. Diana shifts her frail hand closer to Sigma, and then he gently grasps it between his own. The Sigma before her is not the one who was trapped in the shelter. It's the same body, but a different consciousness. On April 13, 2029, Sigma was at the headquarters of Crash Key, his eye and arm replaced with a robotic ones. There, the young Sigma returns to his body from 45 years in the future and begins to carry out Akane's instructions. How many years has it been since you came here, Diana? A little over 3, I think. I followed you here in May 2029. A violent coughing fit takes over after she speaks. Sigma helps her sleep and slowly pats her back until it subsides. Why didn't the medical pod work? I told you it's fate. Diana's skin's deathly pale, but her eyes still shine with life, just like a child's. So we got best payoff. We don't get one with... Oh, I guess this is a robot team. Robot with a round helmet, that's Sean. The other Phi. Baby Phi, who was indeed transported to 1904 to 2008, but a Phi also remained in 1904. Whatever happened to that Phi? Rumor is she became a brilliant scientist and worked at a research facility in the US well into her hundreds. The facility was researching the transporter, and that's where the Phi from 1904 is sent. So they sent her to herself. Oh, what? What? Ah, confusing. Ooh, lots of text. I've always dreamt of coming here. Did you know that Diana is the name of the goddess of the moon? I wanted to do this ever since I was little, so I'm perfectly fine with dying here. What are you saying? I've been able to spend the last 3 years living with you, Sigma. I've treasured every moment. Sigma lowers his head, his expression pained. Please don't make that face. You don't need to be sad. In the year 2074, you'll shift back to Christmas 2028, and the next day, old me will head it to the decom facility in Nevada desert and meet you. Diana nods. Sigma closes his eyes and shakes his head. That's not it. I mean, I'm in love with you. His declaration stops as Diana's lips close over his in a kiss, and the rest of the words are lost. After a moment, Diana murmurs, "It must be a wonderful future. The future where we found each other in 2028. Sigma holds on her tightly. Aching, heartfelt sobs echo within a cold, silent world. Well, that's fucking depressing. Can this shit be happy? Oh, oh god, so much stuff. Carlos. The day is bright and clear. A girl in a white dress strolls along the beach, the wind tossing her long blonde hair playfully. Interesting. Up until a half a year ago, she had been confined to a bed. Carlos' eyes still tear up every time he sees her smile. Come on, Carlos, you don't have to help me. That's the point of my rehab. You're right. Sorry, Maria. Carlos brushes her hair out of her face. It's definitely not the summer sun that's making him act out of sorts. It's the fact that his sister is here standing before him. Maria grins. What would Akane and Junpei say if you saw you being all fussy like this? It's fine. They understand how important you are to me. Both you and Junpei are your lives on the line. Put your lives on the line. That was a different history, but going through that means we know how to treat Reverie Syndrome. Can't believe you have the ability to jump through space-time. I'm just glad you're able to control it now. Oh wait, fuck. I need names. I can't believe we can have the ability to jump through space-time. I can't believe you. I'm glad you're just able to control it. It's all because Carlos met Akane and Junpei that Maria was able to recover. He wishes he could show them just how well she's doing. I'd love to see how well she's doing, but I don't get that. You're thinking about them right now, aren't you, Carlos? What makes you say that? Because you're smiling. Carlos closes his eyes as his unconscious smile turns fond. They're just about your age. Kind of feels like I gained a brother and another sister. You are going to their wedding, aren't you? Yeah, and you're coming with me. But there is something Carlos needs to do first, back when the three of them parted ways. I'll be waiting to hear word from you when you locate that terrorist. Carlos held his right hand out toward Akane and Junpei, and the other two grabbed onto it with their own. There was no way of knowing if Delta was telling the truth, but if he was, one fanatic would kill off all of humanity. Akane and Junpei vowed to find this person, and Carlos offered help. He can still feel the strong bond between the three of them, their hands clasped together tightly. I suppose I better get used to talking more before the wedding, huh? Holding her hair out of her face, Maria reaches out to her brother, who takes her hand in his, and they continue walking down the beach. The same blue sky above them stretches over her friends. Carlos knows he can rely on. Junpei sits upon the white sofa somewhere within the secret location of Crash Keys, twiddling a pen and sighing. What else could I say? Laying on the table in front of him is a half-written letter. Suddenly, Akane pops up behind him. What are you doing, Junpei? She playfully teases. Junpei dives for the letter, but she snatches it from his fingers and begins reading. Let's see. Carlos, without you, Akane and I would have never gotten together. Thank you. Is this a invitation to the wedding? No, it's most definitely not. He quickly grabbed for the paper, but Akane quickly moves it out of her reach. Just a progress report. Junpei mutters. Okay, yeah. I mentioned the wedding, but the date hasn't been set yet. I made a promise to you and your brother we wouldn't get married until we dealt with the fanatic. Akane's face flushes bright red. She hesitantly hides her face behind the letter and goes back to reading. I'd like nothing more than to get the approval and blessings of our old friends and those of you we met 6 months ago. Eyes wide, Akane glances up at Junpei. He avoids her gaze, awkwardly scratching the back of his head. Yeah, it's not a wedding invitation. Quest. The hell's this? I missed 2 things. Oh yeah. One would probably solving extra shit that I didn't have to solve, but I did solve, or didn't solve. You know, there's a history where I keep searching for you even after I'm old and craggly. It still exists out there somewhere, and when I think of that, sharp pain jolts through Junpei's face. Akane's pinching his cheek. Ow, that hurts. What are you doing? To prove you this isn't a dream, Akane giggles. You still can't believe we're together like this? Akane shakes his head. You've changed a lot, Junpei. A half a year ago, you were never this honest. It's like, how do I describe it? Like a dream? Huh? Junpei leans in and quickly pinches Akane. Oh, now you've done it. She darts forward and goes after Junpei with both hands, getting in a pinch wherever she can. And Junpei does the same. Once they start laughing, it's very hard to stop, and they keep going until they're out of breath. I guess this is all thanks to Carlos, too. That's why... all thanks to Carlos, too. Fucking Akane. That's why I'm writing that thank you letter. On Akane's left hand, a ring glitters on her ring finger. Thank God you found out which ring goes... which finger each ring goes on to, Junpei. Thank God. Hey Mira, how are you feeling? Are you lonely? Come on, Eric, you visited last week. Eric smiles wryly and reaches out to Mira with his left hand. Mira does the same, and their hands with matching silver rings line on either side of the plexiglass window. I brought a new guest to see you today. Eric shifts to the side and a head pops into view. You're... Hi, Amira, long time no see. It's Sean, right? Yep, I'm happy you remembered. Behind Mira, the sun shining through an iron-barred window, lighting up the visitor room. It's been a long time, Sean. It's good to see you. The smile that appears on her face is real. Mira no longer needs to plaster a fake one. When I heard you turned yourself in, I was really surprised. Eric was the one who convinced me. He said I should pay for my sins so we could be together. Fucking Eric. Damn it, Eric. So that's why you got married in jail. Eric ducks his head shyly. Yeah, because she's never fucking getting out. How many people did she fucking kill again? Yeah, no. There's no judicial system that's gonna be like, you know what, yeah, you killed an ungodly amount of people. You can just get off for, you know, slap on the wrist. Don't even worry about it, honey. I'd say that, but I'm not a judge, and I'd get disbarred. Are you okay? Are you sure you're okay with this? Mira asks. He looks at her in confusion. Don't you regret marrying me? I did carve your heart out in another history. Isn't that what you said, Sean? Hey, you did carve out my heart. Ha! In the good way. Eric looks straight and yeah, he did. Eric looks Mira straight in the eye. I've already told you this a bunch of times. I forgive you. No matter what happens. Besides, you haven't killed me in this history yet, right? Yet. Mira's lips twist wryly. But the Heart Rippers killed people already. So many. Sean, stop it. Eric turns angrily on Sean, and Mira's face falls into a frown. But Sean continues speaking. You turned yourself in, Mira, but that doesn't mean you've paid for all your crimes. You did. I doubt the family and friends that were left behind would forgive you even if you were put on death row. There's no way you can clear your sins here. Mira grits her teeth. But there is a way to clear them. Well, not what you've already done, technically. You'll have to pay for those your whole life. That'll never change, but maybe you can in another universe. Suddenly, Sean's fist crashed through the plexiglass window. What are you doing? Oh my god. What are you fucking doing, you absolute moron? Why would you be fucking breaking her out of jail? Mira jumps backward while Eric is frozen in shock. What are you... Eric can't even finish speaking before Sean moves. Jumping through the broken window, he kicks the outside wall of the visitor room, causing it to crumble and reveal a giant hole. An alarm immediately starts blaring, and police officers rush into the room. but Sean darts forward and takes them all down in a blink of an eye. He holds his hand out to Mira. Let's go. Go where? I know where the transporter is being stored. You're saying we should go change history? Eric finally stutters. Sean nods. To stop young Mira from committing murder. Mira, I'm pretty sure that's the only way you can clear your sins. Mira stares out through the hole in the wall, at the horizon extending beyond. Okay, that's a nice ending. I like that ending. I like that ending. That was a cute ending. I want to go see... I want to go see young Mira. Can I get that? Can I get that? Oh, hey, look, they're all the fucking dolls. That's awesome. Q's just shown as nothing because he is nothing. He doesn't have a doll, so there wouldn't be a representation. Actually, I am curious though. In what some of the Japanese voice acting sounds like. So we'll start over with here, just to see who I missed out on, what it sounds like. Just a little bit. Just to have a little fun before I call this thing a wrap. Because I assume Luna sounds the exact same. Kind of just interested to hear how, like... Carlos? Damn. Okay. Oh, that's right, I haven't actually heard, like, young Akane.
誰かの隠し子とか？
隠し子？
ダイアナあたりの。
冗談言ってる場合ですか？
取れないのか？そのヘルメットみたいなやつ。
Yeah, I've heard you for a while.
気味が悪くて。
Eric doesn't sound as much of a loser as he is. So after listening to the Japanese voices a little bit, I had fun, went to some funny scenes that I at least thought were funny. Just to hear how they sounded different. Really like Akane's Japanese voice. I really do. Nothing against English. It sounded fine, but it's like God tier, and then it's like pretty good. Can't be helped. Can't be helped. Mira also sounds fantastic. Fantastic. This was a really fun game. I'm really glad I got into it. Really glad I finished this series. And I'm glad everyone watched it, enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, I'm glad you watched it anyways. If you subscribe to the channel while going through it, I hope the future stuff interests you enough to stay subscribed and keep watching the content. There's plenty of stuff in the backlog as well that I think I can highly recommend. There's a lot of series out there that I've done that's very well done, in my humble opinion. Thank you guys. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you got it this far through 3 games, needless to say, I think you're going to at least enjoy some of the stuff I can put out later on. So hit that subscribe button. You never know what can come in the future. Different series, different kinds of genres I might want to get into. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.